This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Joe Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday for today, October the 12th, is a Dallas Cowboys legend for kind of the wrong reasons. But nevertheless, he's memorable in the NFL. Despite the fact that he won a few Super Bowl rings with the Cowboys, he is most memorable for two botched plays. And all of that. He was just basically a no-namer until he made those two mistakes. But he did coach the Dallas Cowboys for a while. Anyway, his name is Leon Lett, who's now 56 years old. Born October 12, 1968 in Mobile, Alabama. He lettered in football and basketball at Fairhope High School. He got a scholarship from Auburn, but after a low score on the college acceptance SATs, he had to play at a community college. Fortunately, though, he would do better. He was actually supposed to go to New Mexico State to play there. And unfortunately, he had a partial scholarship offer from Emporia State University in Kansas and helped them get to the NAIA championship game. And so he spent 2 years with Emporia State. He actually was inducted in 2013 to the National Junior College Athletic Association, NJCAA, Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. The Cowboys would decide to take their chances in the 7th round and take Leon Lett. Back when the draft was 12 rounds. I mean, when you look at Leon Lett, picked number 173, it was actually a pick that Denver sent them. It was a trade. Well, Denver traded their 7th round pick to Dallas for a guard and an 8th round pick in 92. So Leon Lett was picked. Ironically enough, the next pick, number 174, was Calvin Teagle to Tampa, a linebacker from Georgia Tech. But Calvin Teagle would come into his own as a CFL legend with the Ticats, among others. Look at key people after that. After Leon Lett, you can't really see too many legends and all that. So that's what happens. So anyway, the Cowboys put him in the 7th round, and as a rookie, he was placed on the injured reserve list with lower background on August 27th. He would be reactivated by November and play as a reserve defensive tackle during the last 5 games of the season and in the playoffs. He blossomed in a second season in the defensive line rotation, and basically as a defensive right tackle in passing situations. He had 19 quarterback pressures and 4 passes deflected. And all that. So in his second season, he was one of the best defensive players around and forced 3 fumbles and got the Cowboys to Super Bowl 27, where they would meet the Buffalo Bills. And in that game, near the end of the game, Jim Kelly was pressured into losing the ball. And Leon Lett scooped up the ball and was going to go to the end zone. It would have been the longest fumble return in Super Bowl history by a defensive lineman, nevertheless. He was pressured. He was fumbling and stumbling. He was looking good until all of a sudden Leon Lett decided to do what Michael Irvin does and stretch the ball over the line. Like put the ball to reach for the across the goal line. Unfortunately, though, Don Beebe, out of nowhere, came back and snapped the ball out of Leon's hands. He did not enter the end zone with the ball. That meant that we go through the end zone for a touchback, meaning Buffalo will get the ball at their 20. Fortunately, though, Leon Lett did sack Frank Reich on the game's final play, and the Cowboys did win the Super Bowl 52-17. This would have been huge because it would have been the most points by one team in a Super Bowl, with 59. After that, 7 points. The record's 55. But yeah, that would have been amazing. Unfortunately, though, he fractured his right ankle in the 3rd game of the season and missed 5 games. He would be along the defensive line under rotation, too. He only played 11 games in that 93 season. And in the divisional round against the Packers, he actually deflected a couple of passes. One was intercepted by him and recovered a fumble. In Super Bowl 28, he forced Furman Thomas to fumble in the third quarter. That led to James Washington scooping and scoring to tie the game and change the momentum of the game. In 1994, he started, well, I guess we could talk about the infamous play and all that. So, on Thanksgiving Day in 1993, the Miami Dolphins, who were on a roll and were 8-2 in the AFC East, despite Dan Marino being injured and Scott Mitchell now being the quarterback. Well, Scott Mitchell was hurt too, so Steve DeBerg had to come in to be quarterback. They were in Dallas on Thanksgiving Day on NBC for the great Dick Enberg calling the game and all that. The Cowboys were started at 0-2 without Evan Smith, and then were 7-1 with him. The Cowboys were up 14-13, and Pete Stoyanovich was out to complete a 41-yard field goal. And it was blocked by Jimmy Jones, number 96, in the programs for Dallas. Now, Dallas, all they knew was that all they had to do was not touch the ball. The ball that play would have called dead, and Miami could not regain possession, and Dallas would gain possession and win the game. But somehow, in some way, Leon Lett inadvertently slid, touched the ball, and then it was a free-for-all, which Miami recovered, and all that. It was at the 1-yard line with 3 seconds left, and Stoyanovich easily kicked an 18-yard field goal. Miami won the game 16-14. So this actually was a brutal miscue. But once again, like the Super Bowl 27 play, it actually didn't have a super massive catastrophe. It wasn't a catastrophe because Dallas did win the Super Bowl that year. They did beat the Giants on the final day of the season to be the number 1 seed in the NFC and got their way and won the Super Bowl against the Bills. So it was just okay and all that. The strangest thing was that even though that it helped Miami win the game, Miami inadvertently collapsed. They were 9-2, tops in the AFC, but somehow, some way, lost 5 straight games as the injury bug, well, to Marino and Mitchell would kind of hurt them. Miami did get robbed on the final day of the season. A certain touchdown catch with like a minute left was negated because of the officials thinking that the Miami receiver did not have both feet in the end zone. Unfortunately, though, instant replay, if it had been implemented, showed that the Miami guy was in the end zone. So anyway, Leon Lett was the runner for that. He actually started all 16 games in 94 and got to the Pro Bowl, despite the fact that the Cowboys did not get to the Super Bowl. In 95, he actually had to serve a 4-game suspension because of the substance abuse policy. But regardless, he did help him out by Super Bowl 30. Leon Lett would serve 28 games suspension because of substance abuse policy. Luckily for him, he wasn't officially kicked out of the league. He got to the Pro Bowl in 1998 after starting 15 games and had a lot of tackles and all that. He was a pretty decent player and all that, and did win 3 Super Bowl rings. He signed a free agent with the Broncos. So it was weird how he ended his career not with the Cowboys. Nevertheless, Lett actually started his coaching career by 2009, being a volunteer assistant at UNLV, and graduated from UNLV with a degree in university studies and a concentration in sociology and history. He was made defensive tackle for University of Louisiana Monroe, and then was hired in 2011 to be a full-time assistant defensive line coach for the Cowboys. He was that way for 11 years before being axed. So say what you want about Leon Lett. Say what you want about those 2 key plays in Super Bowl 27 and Thanksgiving Day 93 that cost the Cowboys, in a sense. It didn't cost Dallas long-term. Short-term, possibly. But yeah, Leon Lett is famous for all the wrong reasons, despite the fact he has 3 Super Bowl rings. And we should be honoring for that. Anyhow, I'm Jeff, I'm going to do